Judges at the Special Criminal Court in the capital city Yaoundé have charged Cameroon's former minister or Prime Minister Ephraim Onani for having embezzled some 1.7 billion francs CFA. He appeared for the first time before the Special Criminal Court ever since he was arrested and detained 9 months ago. And also in this newscast, dealers in sport accessories here in the economic capital Douala, they complain that they are out of business following the absence or the non-participation of the Indomitable Lions in the African Cup of Nations. Plus, a mother of triplets here in the economic capital Douala cries for help. Thank you so much, viewers, for joining us tonight in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on ETV. Very barely a few hours, or less than 24 hours to the kickoff of the African Cup of Nations being to be hosted in South Africa. The opinions are divided here in the economic capital Douala, or as sport observers, they do not know which team to stand behind or support. Some say they prefer to stand behind some participating West African teams or countries, as staff man Chris Toby tells us in the following report.
The African Cup of Nations that kicked off this Saturday, January 19th in Nelson Mandela's country, South Africa, would certainly create many duels and challenges, notably within West African countries lodged in Group B. Niger's supporters, like this one, strongly believes in his country's chances despite the presence of heavyweights like Ghana and the Democratic Republic of Congo in that group. Many are more versed in the game of forecast between the Menas and the Eagles here in Douala. Meanwhile, Group C-based Super Eagles of Nigeria would find it pretty difficult to dethrone the mighty Zambia, Burkina Faso and Ethiopia, even though a supporter remains optimistic.
We have a 100% chance for win the African Cup of Nations because of the country which qualify for Nations Cup is not too harsh to Super Eagles.
This optimism nonetheless contrasts sharply with his compatriot who thinks,
what I'm seeing in Super Eagles today, the keep we have today, there's nothing like you cannot compare with the other equipes previously. The chance of going ahead in Nations Cup is just a little percent because there's nobody there who can make the keep strong. I did not see any tactic. I did not see any seriousness. I did not see anything. If we can be able to go the first round, it's just God. Thank you.
Certainly, the answer to this dilemma shall come from the field after 90 minutes come February 10th, day of the finals of this 29th edition of the African Football Jamboree.
And Douala City dwellers think on which team to support when the economic impact of the non-participation or the absence of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon in the sports jamboree to be hosted by South Africa is already being felt here in the economic capital Douala. Our dealers in sports accessories as well as other sports items say they have been unable to make any significant profit due to the absence of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. And also we remain here in the economic capital Douala, where a woman has been helpless at the Bingo Baptist Hospital after giving birth to triplets. She has been unable to retire home after her discharge due to her inability to foot her hospital bills. Annabella tells us more in the following report.
These triplets have been lying here at the Bingo and Next Hospital in Pompi since December 28 because of insufficient money to foot the hospital bills.
So we beg for any Cameroonian way if he help for can't pay this bill for the mommy because the mommy over suffer, you're not getting nothing.
They were born to Jean-Paul Kendon from Ginicom in the Northwest region and wife who were expecting twins and not triplets. Feeding and clothing the children and their mother has been very difficult, the father tells us. And if the children have somewhere to sleep, the mother spends nights and days on the floor.
I beg, me and my woman, they don't even discharge me for hospital. We don't have money to pay for the hospital bills. And my woman is sleeping for floor.
One of the kids has already fallen ill because of inadequate care. The parents are begging and calling on people of goodwill to come to the assistance of these newborn babies.
Now, Cameroon's former minister or Prime Minister Ephraim Inoni has been charged by the Special Criminal Court for having embezzled some 1.7 billion francs CFA. The judgment was presented yesterday in the capital city, Yaoundé, by the examining magistrate of the Special Criminal Court. A Yaoundé-based correspondent Roland Akon tells us more in the following report.
After 9 months in detention, Chief Ephraim Inoni is now charged with the embezzlement of 1.7 billion francs CFA. The former PM was presented 2 charges by Jerome Kwabu, the examining magistrate of the Special Criminal Court in Yaoundé Thursday. In the first charge, Ephraim Inoni is accused of embezzling 1.4 billion, money destined for the leasing of Khmer planes. The financial transactions were said to have taken place via the Standard Chartered Bank, where Ephraim Inoni was board chair. In the second charge, Ephraim Inoni is accused of embezzling 287 million in the award of contracts to APM, an audit firm where Ephraim Inoni was equally board chair. The firm APM was hired to audit Khmer planes. Now that he has been charged, our sources say the trial of the former PM is expected to begin in the Special Criminal Court in Yaoundé next month.
And on to politics, Elekam has only registered an estimated 1/4 of previewed voters in the littoral region, less than 40 days to the close of the registration exercise, and observers of the political scene blame the lapses or the slow pace at which the registration exercise is ongoing on the confidence or lack of confidence on the electoral system in the country. They say even the absence of equipment is a huge contributing factor. Ranibel Satowara tells us more in the following report.
It was revealed during the consultation meeting at the Douala City Council that only 180,400 potential voters have so far been registered on the electoral list in the Vuri division, and only 289,000 of the over 800,000 in the whole of the littoral region in less than 40 days to the close of the exercise. Political party leaders, civil society actors, and elites of the Vuri division blamed the slow pace of the exercise to the lack of confidence Cameroonians now have in the electoral system in the country.
Open the way to access to democracy by changing the electoral law, by introducing the majority to 18-year-old, by openly say that for the presidential election, it will be second tour. This second tour is given to select 2 best candidates and make a choice.
The participants demanded that more personnel and kits be provided to councils and for field workers not to be biased or politically motivated if they have to catch up with the February 28 deadline. There were also calls for handicapped persons to be considered in the mobilization and registration process.
Yeah, we are multiplying so many strategies. Some of them are already
Elekam officials on their part said in order to attain their set goals before the targeted deadline, the elites, civil society actors as well as political parties must join in the campaign to make Cameroonians believe in elections Cameroon and also know that voting is their civic obligation.
We stay with you, Ranibel Satowara, to take our viewers to the west region of the country, precisely in Bafoussam, where staff of the Bafoussam Regional Hospital say the equipment recently provided by the Ministry of Health has improved the quality of services in that hospital. They were speaking as Minister Andre Mamapuda went to inaugurate the emergency center of that health unit. Ranibel Satowara tells us more once again.
Quand on parle des urgences, il faut comprendre qu'il s'agit de minutes pour sauver une vie.
The general manager of the Bafoussam Regional Hospital, Dr. Fozo Jira, rightly underscores the importance of the emergency unit of a hospital to save situations that might get worse if not attended to in the next seconds. These items were provided to the emergency unit of the hospital by Health Minister Andjema Mafouda as he inaugurated the center.
Quand on parle des urgences, il faut comprendre qu'il s'agit de minutes pour sauver une vie.
When the talk of emergency, it implies it is a matter of minutes for a life to be saved from danger. So measures must be taken to ensure that patients don't die because there were no equipment or money to go ahead with treatments. The newly inaugurated center consists of a consultation unit, a well-equipped mini laboratory and first aid box, a computerized observation box, offices, to name the few. The emergency unit is just one of the other services that the hospital, constructed since 1953, has recently benefited from. The staff of the hospital said the move by the health minister is an encouragement to them in their duty to save lives.
It's on the note that we call it quit to this segment of the news, but Talking Point is up next. Viewers, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Talking Point. Tonight we are going to be talking about the African Cup of Nations that kicks off in less than 24 hours in South Africa. And unfortunately, the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon are not going to be taking part in that competition. And our guest tonight is a former team coach, Mr. Michel Kaham. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Good evening.
So how do you feel that the Indomitable Lions are not participating in the competition?
Well, it's a big disappointment for all of us, for all football lovers in Cameroon. For the second time, we are going to miss the African Cup of Nations, which is a big occasion for us, to go out there and show what we can do in football. Cameroon is a big country in football, so not to be in an African Cup of Nations for us is a very big loss.
Did you see this failure, like the absence of the Lions participating? Did you see it coming? Because this is the second consecutive time. Could you imagine that the Indomitable Lions would not be in the competition?
No, I could not imagine that. We failed, to go to Gabon, last year, but we were sure after the draw, we were going to meet to play against Madagascar or Cape Verde. We were sure that we were going to go through. But we didn't qualify. So, as I say, it's a big disappointment. We have the players. We had, talent player who can do the job and who can win. But it's just a matter of poor organization and poor management. And, we need to solve those problems because we have really good talent players who are playing all over the world, in great nation, in great team all over the world. So not to be there for Cameroon is not normal. It's a great disappointment.
Talking about managerial lapses, is there something that the sports sector in Cameroon was supposed to do that was not done?
First of all, it's the same thing, better between federation and the government. We should know who is doing what. Like they are doing all over the world, federation should be the one to direct the national team. They have the means, they belong to CAF, they belong to the FIFA, and they know the tricks, everything, to win on football. So you need to put federation ahead on top. That's very important. It will take time, but I'm sure that one day we'll go into that team because that's the right direction. If the federation is really involved with the whole means, I'm sure that we'll go through. But the government is there to watch, to take care, to make sure that everything is going right. But to direct the national team, it should be the responsibility of the federation. That's the first thing to clarify. When we'll go through that, I'm sure that everything will be solved. Because for sure, we are always talking about the Lions, about the Indomitable Lions. But there is the base. We have to organize everything, start from the basics. And that is a good job, the big job to be done. And it will take a lot of investment. And government needs to invest to create stadium, because it's important.
Is that the basis?
It's the basis, because we should train. We should have something even to implement all what we want to do in football. We need stadium, and that's the job of the government. We need to take that step to show that we really want to push the football, on top.
Saying that the Football Federation is supposed to be ahead, is it a contrary situation in Cameroon? Do you see the government trying to take control over the football sector, like trying to control everything as far as football is concerned in the country?
Not everything. Not the Lions. They try to control the Lions, the indomitable Lions. That's the way the problem is. And we know that the Lions, they are the flag bearer, the flag bearer of our football. So it's there. That's the real point. But they need to make some clarification to let the federation make his own job, like he must do, like they do it all over the world. Football is to the federation. That's very important. It's very important to take that giant step. And the rest, as I said, the state is there to control, to make sure that everything is moving to the right direction. But technically, the federation is the one to be the master of the game.
Now, according to FIFA's ranking that was published yesterday, Cameroon has moved from the 61st position to the 67th, meaning that things are not even getting better in the football sector in Cameroon. What do you have to say about that?
We are still too far. We are still too far. We did, 2 years ago, there is a giant meeting in Yaoundé. We take a very giant, big decision how to promote our football. We need to get there and try to move up to everybody should be put in one place, and then we will start working to promote our football. But that will start from the basics. It's very important. We are very down. We came down from the World Cup in 2010 with no points. We failed to go to the African Cup of Nations in two years ago, and today we are not there anymore. So we need a big reflection, and we need to start working from the basics system and then to try to move up strictly but surely onto the top. But as I said, we need to put the right people and the right place, because everybody today wants to get involved into football. Even those that people that don't choose football, that don't know anything about football, they want to direct some key post in football, which is not necessary. So we need to really need to sit back and say, we are too low, and we need to get down and work together to build up our football. You see, there are individuals here, like Kaji Sport Academy, trying to help, to promote, and to give chance to youngsters, to train every day in good trees in order to become stars. So everyone to be involved in that, the federation and the government, to try to give a chance to a lot of youngsters, to train like they do everywhere in the world if you want to become stars tomorrow, because it's a great competition out there.
So opportunities should be given to young talents, and there are, of course, so many in Cameroon today.
Absolutely, but you need a lot of money. You need a lot of money to implement a very, very good political youth football, because there is no money picking from the gate. It's just investment. So we need to put money, to form them, to educate all those children, and to give them chance, to play on the real field with the good coaches. But that takes investment, that takes money, and we can say yes. Since 2 years, with the technical direction of football, we are trying now to form coaches. They are well-trained coaches. Now we need to get down there and give fields. We need good training fields. Those facilities can only be done by the government.
And this is, of course, a new year, and at the beginning of this January 2013, a meeting was held in Yaoundé that was being chaired. It was actually a press conference by the captains or the team coach, Jean-Paul Akono, looking at ways that the Indomitable Lions can get qualified ahead of the World Cup to take place in Brazil. Do you see these problems coming to an end shortly? Do you think that it's going to come to an end?
Well, Akono has a big challenge up there, because he's represented the Cameroon coaches, Cameroonian coaches. In the past they used to select only French coach or, let's say, foreigner. So today the Cameroonian coach is on top. He had no right to fail. You need to get in there and do the right thing so that we can qualify. It's very, very important.
Why does he have no right to fail?
He have no right, because they are giving us a chance. If he fails, I'm sure that they will no longer, even for 10 more years, we won't see any Cameroonian coach, around the Lions.
He alone cannot do everything.
He cannot do anything. It's up to he's on top, so he can go around and see, to take advice to different people. We are all around him, so together we'll work together. I'm sure we can succeed because we have the players. Winning is having good players first, and we have them. Now the problem is the selection, to make sure that the atmosphere inside the team is normal, is sincere, and that it takes time to work on it. All those players today came from different schools. We know them since they were young, so there is nothing we cannot ask them to do. They will do it. It's just a matter of small thing, but we need to know how to get into it and to make sure that those players be really concerned about performance, to stay together, to work together as a team. This is very, very important. And I'm sure that maybe it's going to be difficult because you see that RDC, Togolese, they are in there, they are going to play the African Cup of Nations. That means they are going to come up there with a really good team, with their first line team, and we are still around looking for our team. That means that we are going to go into those competitions with a little bit doubt. It's going to be very, very difficult. That's what we have to pay attention because it's not going to be easy.
So much still has to be done. Now, taking a look at those teams that are participating, like you just said, looking at them as sports analyst and a team coach you are, which team do you possibly see winning the trophy in the African Cup of Nations?
Well, first of all is Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. Ivory Coast is, for me, the best team out there because of players, because also the atmosphere around the team at this moment. In the past few years, they had difficult to manage their defensive system. But if you see what they did in Gabon 1 year ago, they almost won the trophy. They lost on penalty shootout, but that was for me, that was the best team. They are here today with the same group of players, with a new coach, and every teams to go well with this team. And you can see what they did in eliminatory. They oust Senegalese team, which is a very, very big team. So for me, that's the number one spot. But since things never goes as you see, we can talk about Algeria or Ghana. For me, that are the three top teams that can win the trophy. But there are also Nigeria, who is coming strongly, and maybe Angola. But South Africa, I don't think about it because they are still in construction. They don't have a really good player. Maybe they will manage to go through the second round, but to win the trophy will be difficult. So my first pick is Côte d'Ivoire, then Algeria, and Ghana, and maybe Nigeria, as I said.
So a perfect example for Cameroon, of course, to follow.
Yeah, for sure. But
from a team like Côte d'Ivoire, that is so much praise.
Yeah, you see there are a lot of talents over there. Great big players. But maybe because of the war, I don't know, but they have a conscience, like they have a national respect for what they are doing. And we need to build that into our national team. It's very, very important. And Côte d'Ivoire, they have talent players, famous players. But now they are finding a way, they are quiet, and things is going at the right direction. So it's something to follow, that's for sure.
Is that the reason why many Cameroonians are behind Côte d'Ivoire? Are you also supporting Côte d'Ivoire?
Just because of what they are doing. I support the game, what they are doing, and what they are showing up. There's no complaint anymore, there's no noise anymore. They are just playing, and they are doing well on the field. So the Lions, if something we should learn from Côte d'Ivoire is that go to the field and give your best, and then the rest will follow. And don't talk, don't be out talking to newspaper, disturbing, creating bad news. No, the player need to be concentrated on their game, only playing to deserve the respect of the whole nation. And they all know that we love football in Cameroon. And today we all are back there ashamed, saying that we are away. We don't deserve that.
Now let's take a look at the economic impact of the absence of the Indomitable Lions in the African Cup of Nations. You know, those dealers in sports accessories or sport wares items here in the economic capital Douala say that business is highly slow, is slow. The turnover is low because the Lions, Cameroonians are not giving any interest in the competition.
It's normal. It's normal. Their team are not there. If we were in South Africa, you will see many items, T-shirts out there. We are not there. So what should we buy? Ghana or I don't know what else is T-shirts. So for sure, it's a big loss for those people who usually normally gain something around football, and that's not enough. If you see about football, now is a professional war. Over there, they are going to be a big market, and figure out that there are young Cameroonians who need to show their talent. If they were there in South Africa, probably maybe they will earn some contract. That will help their family. So it's a big loss for footballers first, for football players first, and then to the federation because there are some money giving back to the federation. And all over the world, today, football is something which is very on TV. Because of TV, you know, you have a world exposition. So it's a place to be. When you are not there, you are losing something. And it's important for us not to miss the next World Cup, because from that, today we are living on 1990 success, what we did in Italy, and we are still on that dream. But that is not going to last very, very long. We need to sit back and try to do something concrete these days to come.
So it has not only affected the national football team, it has affected Cameroonian, the economy as a whole.
Absolutely.
The fact that the Indomitable Lions are not participating.
Absolutely, because imagine that somebody, a businessman going to China, he say, I'm from Cameroon. Just because they saw you on TV, they say, the country of Roger Milla, of this thing. Football today helps to promote a country. And when you promote a country, you can promote all things coming from that country. That's very important.
Thanks indeed, Mr. Michael Kaham, for coming. You are a team coach and you came to look at maybe the absence of the Indomitable Lions in the ongoing or the African Cup of Nations that kicks off tomorrow in South Africa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Minnie.
And to you viewers, we thank you so much for watching. We have come to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on ETV. We thank you so much for your usual kind attention. Meantime, have a wonderful stay in the company of our programs. Good evening.